Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now in this video we're going to be having a look at this thing here. This is the Sim Lab P1X sim racing cockpit. Now I've had my fair share of sim racing cockpits over the time, from wheel stands to rigs from GT Omega, the rock solid rigs RSR21. I designed and built my own 80/20 profile rig. I've got the Pro Sim rig, got the Huizenveld Engineering Sim Rig GT. So I think I know what I'm looking for when buying a sim rig. Now, talking about buying, a bit of a disclaimer, Sim Lab are now a partner of the channel, so I didn't pay for this. They sent me this rig for free, although they don't see the video before it's published and they don't have any input at all in anything that I say. So as usual, I'll also say that I'm not a reviewer of products. I'm a sim racer, exactly the same as you. There's other guys that do reviews way better than I ever could, but I'm going to give you a sim racer's perspective. And by doing so, I'm going to look at 4 things that are important to me when buying a new product. Firstly, what does it look like? If it doesn't look right, you're not going to buy it. Secondly, what's the build quality like? Thirdly, how does it perform? And finally, is it value for money? So firstly, we'll talk about the delivery, how it was packaged, etc., etc. To summarize, it was perfect. This is the black version of the rig, so you want the finish to be perfect. Everything was either wrapped in bubble wrap or cellophane with bits of polystyrene. There was no damaged parts at all. I inspected every piece of the profile and there literally wasn't one mark on any of them. And that was the same with every piece that I unboxed. It was perfect. Now, I'm not going to show you the build of the rig because at the end of the day, it's an aluminium profile rig. They all go together pretty much the same. But I'll talk about the process itself. Really straightforward. If you've built an aluminium profile rig before, you'll know that they go together with small angle brackets and they bolt together like a huge Meccano set, really. But it went together really well. It took about 3 hours from start to finish. So from unboxing to getting the full rig assembled, about 3 hours. I could have done it quicker, but on your own, some bits are a little bit awkward because they are large pieces of metal with a bit of weight to them. And if you try and line up nuts and bolts, it can be a little bit fiddly, but doable, easily doable on your own. So it took about 3 hours from start to finish. The seat mounts were a little bit fiddly because you had to fit it, kind of test fit it where you wanted it to be. And because the mounting holes are underneath, it's really difficult to get to. You had to take it off, then line it up again, just get it where you wanted it before you could actually tighten everything down, but that's no problem really. The pedal deck was a little bit awkward just because of its size really, and just because you're on your own. I didn't want to scratch the floor. Julie would have killed me, but went together really well. So from start to finish, about 3 hours, dead easy. What I did like, I'll just mention, what I did like is because it's a black aluminium profile rig, you don't want to get it marked. And sometimes with rigs I've had before, when you've assembled them, then you put the wheel deck on, it's a really tight fit and it's dead easy to scratch the profile or mark the profile. I've got the Pro Sim rig over there and I did mark that one quite badly. With this one, the wheel deck just slotted in, like the tolerances are so fine, but it slotted in perfectly, didn't mark the profile at all. Same with the pedal deck, although maybe I did mark the profile underneath slightly on one part where you can't see it, but everything slotted together really, really well. All the peripherals mounted as you would expect. The SimiCube 2 Pro mounted to the front deck that I've got. I've also got a wheel deck, so a bottom mounted wheel deck, so if I wanted to try some other wheelbases I could put that one on. The SimiCube 2 bolted on, no problems. The Acertech Invicta pedals went straight on, no problems. Nothing else to say really, apart from it all went together as perfectly as you would hope. So we'll jump in to the categories that I mentioned at the beginning. So firstly, how does it look? Well, it's an aluminium profile rig. They're never going to be aesthetically beautiful. Like your other half probably wouldn't let you have this in the living room. But because it's black, it looks a little bit better. I like the look of an aluminium profile rig. It's definitely function over form. And there's obviously got to be some compromises if you want something that looks beautiful, they're not as customizable as an aluminium profile rig. But I quite like the look of it in black. I just need a black triple monitor stand now to match. Secondly, build quality. Build quality, I'll spoil it, it's perfect. I inspected every single part of the rig when I took it out the box of the aluminium profile. I wanted to see just how good it was. And every piece was perfect. There wasn't one mark on it. And one thing that's worth mentioning is the nuts, bolts, T-nuts, that kind of thing. They're all really, really good quality. Sometimes I've had rigs before where it's obvious that they've scrimped and scraped a little bit on those items, the nuts and bolts. But that's really important to me. When I'm assembling a rig, I don't want to have the worry that I'm going to round off one of the Allen nuts. I never once felt that when putting this rig together. So really good quality. Everything slotted together as you would hope, like perfectly. There was no issues at all. Everything's finished really nicely. Yeah, there's nothing more to say apart from build quality. Absolutely perfect. As you would expect, though, from a premium sim rig. But this feels like a premium sim rig. I've had rigs before which they're nice, but this just feels a little bit better. It just feels a little bit better quality overall, from the rig to the nuts, bolts, everything. It just seems like a premium product. So thirdly, on to how it performs. Well, it's an aluminium profile rig. It's sturdy. However, this has got no flex at all. Now, one of the things that I really like that I'll mention is the way that the uprights for the wheel deck are mounted to the rig. Normally, you have 4 corner brackets on either side, holding the upright in place at the bottom, where this has got a plate with some countersunk holes on the back with some countersunk bolts that you mount the plate to the upright, and then you mount the upright to the rig. That means that the uprights are like super sturdy. They won't go anywhere. Like literally, they won't move at all. The pedal deck is really simple in design, but super sturdy. There's no flex in the pedal deck at all, or the wheel deck, and that's what you want. You don't want any flex on your wheel deck. You want all the force feedback to come through the wheel to you. Same with the pedal deck. You don't want any flex there at all. You want to build up that muscle memory, and if there's some movement in the pedal deck, then there's going to be some inconsistencies in your laps. You want it to be rock solid, so you know that the only thing that's changing is you and what you do on the rig. So performance-wise, I can't fault it at all. So finally, on to price. So usually this rig with the side mount here that you can't see, it's got like a side mount on, that retails for €829. But at the moment, there's 10% off. So you get it for $746. Is that good value? I think it is. It's expensive. But comparable to other similar rigs out there. And from experience, this is better. Much better finish. Much better quality. And to be honest, if you bought this rig, you would never have to buy another rig ever again. It's the same with any good, sturdy aluminium profile rig. Once you've got a really good, sturdy sim rig to then start attaching whatever you want to it, you'll never have to buy another one. So if you bought this rig, that would be it. You'd never have to buy another one, ever. Would I buy one, though? Yes, I would. 100%. I bought a similar rig to this one 6 months ago, maybe, for a similar price, and the quality isn't anywhere near the quality of the Sim Lab one. I should have just bought the Sim Lab one. I've been a Sim Lab customer for years, and I think it was just a convenience thing that I bought the other one. I wish I'd bought this one. So I would highly recommend the Sim Lab P1X cockpit. So finally, I want to talk about this seat here. So this is the Sim Lab Speed 1 bucket seat. Now, these retail for €359. It is quite snug. It is comfortable. Don't get me wrong. It is comfortable. It is quite snug. I'm not sure about these things on the side. They don't block my vision of the screens at all. With triple screens, though, it just makes my life a little bit more awkward to get in and out. And that's just because I'm a big lad. If I was 10 stone, I would just slip through this little gap really easily. But it's really comfortable, really supportive, doesn't move at all, feels like a really good, sturdy seat. The material looks like it's breathable. There are gaps on the side of the seat to let out the hot air. Really comfortable. If I was going to get the P1X, then yeah, this complements the P1X really well. Really supportive on the back and the shoulders. So what am I, 5'10"? And I just fit under there. If I was taller, then yeah, if I was pushing, you know, over 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3", then maybe this wouldn't be a good idea. But they do an extra large version. So for me, 5'10" and about 200 pounds. What's that? 15 stone in UK money. It fits me just right. So for about €1,100, you're going to get the P1X and the seat. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. You're looking at €300, €400 for a really good seat. I have the Sparco Grid Q seat. That's a little bit lighter than this one. Not as supportive as this one. Not as comfortable as this one. And I've got the Sparco R333, which is a recliner seat. That's much more comfortable. This feels much sportier, much like a bucket seat. Not that it matters because I'm not moving anywhere. I don't have any G-forces. So it is just to kind of hug you in, make things a little bit more immersive. But you wouldn't go wrong with the Speed 1 seat at all. So we'll summarise. How does it look? I think it all looks good. With the seat on, I think it does look pretty good. Secondly, build quality, brilliant, like really, really good. Thirdly, performance-wise, perfect. You know, it doesn't move at all, which is exactly what you want from a really good sim rig. Value for money, it is value for money. You might pay a little bit more for the Sim Lab rig than you would some others, but I think the increase in quality is definitely worth it. But I want to say a massive thank you to Sim Lab for jumping on board and being a channel partner and sending me this rig to use. Now, I mentioned on my social media that when you become partners with a company who you are a customer of, I've been a Sim Lab customer for years. It's like signing for your boyhood football team. I would have bought this rig. They sent me this for free. I would have bought it. So a massive thank you to Sim Lab. Down in the description, there will be a link to Sim Lab. If you want to use that, that's brilliant. That's my affiliate link. So I will get a small commission every time somebody buys one of these rigs. But if you want to buy one, great. It's well worth it. If you don't want to buy one, don't use that link. Or if you want to support one of your favorite streamers who is a Sim Lab partner, go and use their link. It doesn't matter to me that much whether you click through that link or not. But it's there if you wanted to. And that all keeps the wheels turning and the lights on. But as always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.